Quick thought for you. What's one English sentence you've been hesitant to say out loud? Take a slow moment and notice it. Hello, English learners. Welcome to Speak Unstoppable. This is your cozy space to explore English through real conversations and gentle reflections. I'm Maria.
And I'm John. Today, we're going to explore how tiny, minimalist rules can help you speak English naturally, confidently, and without overthinking.
Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Speak Unstoppable. That way, you won't miss any cozy conversations, practical tips, and gentle exercises to grow your English every day.
Yes. So, grab a comfortable seat, take a deep breath, and let's dive into 10 simple rules that can quietly transform your English and your life.
You know, John, sometimes we feel like life is this huge puzzle, and we need a complicated strategy to make sense of it. But over the years, I've realized it's the tiny habits, the subtle adjustments that make the most difference.
Exactly. And the same applies to learning English. It's not about memorizing long grammar rules or studying endless vocabulary lists. It's about small, consistent actions that build confidence and fluency naturally.
I remember when I first tried speaking English in real life, I'd overthink every sentence. I wanted to be perfect, and that pressure, it was exhausting. But then, I started following some minimalist rules in my daily life, and surprisingly, they helped my English too.
Yes, minimalism isn't just about tidying your desk or decluttering your wardrobe. It's about simplifying your decisions, your language, your approach to communication. And today, we'll share 10 of these small rules that quietly shift the way we live and speak.
Let's start with something that feels almost invisible but is powerful: focusing on one thing at a time. When we try to juggle too many tasks or thoughts, it overwhelms us. And speaking English is the same. Pick one phrase, one expression, or even one short sentence and practice it fully before moving on.
I remember this one time at a coffee shop. I wanted to ask the barista a question in English, but I was juggling 5 different sentences in my head. I froze completely. Then I remembered just one sentence. I said it, smiled, and it worked perfectly. That's the power of focusing on one thing at a time.
And it isn't just about speaking, it's about simplifying your thoughts. Another rule I love is embracing silence. Sounds counterintuitive, right? But pausing, letting the moment breathe, actually makes your responses clearer. Your mind gets a little rest, and your words come out more naturally.
Yes, and this ties into our habit of overthinking. Learners often feel pressured to respond immediately, thinking they must be flawless. But giving yourself a tiny pause, it's like a mini reset for your confidence.
Speaking of confidence, another small rule is letting go of perfection. I know it's hard. We want every sentence to be correct, every word perfectly chosen. But when we allow ourselves to make small mistakes, we actually learn faster. Mistakes become gentle lessons instead of something to fear.
And here's a fun one: repeating small successes. If you try a new word, a new phrase, or even a reaction like, "Oh, really?" in conversation, celebrate it. It's simple, but it boosts your motivation more than any long study session.
Yes, John. And when these small victories start adding up, you feel a quiet sense of progress. It's subtle, almost invisible at first, but over time, it transforms the way you approach life, and your English naturally follows.
We'll explore more of these minimalist rules, and I promise they don't feel like rules at all. They feel like little nudges, helping you live and speak with more ease.
Exactly. And if you're feeling hesitant, just remember, it's about trying, not perfecting. Today, just pick one small rule, one habit, and see how it makes your day smoother or your English easier to use.
And if you try it, tell us about it in the comments. We love hearing how tiny changes are making a big difference in your life.
So, breathe, take it slow, and let's enjoy this journey together. Each small step, each small habit is progress. And that's exactly what we'll explore today. 10 minimalist rules that changed our lives and can gently shift yours too. All right, so we've started to notice how tiny adjustments can change everything. Another minimalist rule that's quietly transformative is setting clear boundaries for yourself. Not in a harsh way, but in a calm, mindful way. It could be as simple as deciding not to check your phone during meals, or choosing to speak only one language in a particular practice session.
Yes, boundaries aren't restrictions. They're gentle guidelines that keep your energy focused. When you know where to direct your attention, your learning and your life feel lighter. And interestingly, it helps with English too. You practice more mindfully, notice patterns better, and your confidence grows naturally.
Another rule I love is slowing down intentionally. Sounds simple, right? But our minds rush all the time. When we slow our speech slightly, pause between words, and let sentences breathe, we actually make room for accuracy and reflection. And the amazing part? People notice your calm confidence more than your speed.
Exactly. And slowing down also reduces that inner pressure to be perfect. Learners often think, if I don't answer immediately, I'll look unprepared. But in reality, a pause gives you clarity, makes your English more natural, and honestly, it feels a lot less stressful.
And while we're on the subject of mental space, here's another minimalist rule. Declutter your thoughts before speaking. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Just take a deep breath, let go of distracting worries, and focus on the moment. Your sentences flow easier, and your words feel lighter.
I remember a video call where I was trying to explain a small idea in English, and my mind was spinning with worries. Then I paused, imagined clearing the clouds, and spoke one simple phrase at a time. That tiny mental reset made the conversation feel smooth and natural.
And it's not just about speaking. This mindset gently applies to life, too. Another minimalist rule is embracing enough. You don't need to know every word before starting a conversation. You don't need a perfect plan to take action. Accepting what's enough in the moment brings peace and motivation to continue.
Yes, I call it practical courage. You don't wait for perfection. You start with what's available. In English, that might mean saying, I think, or I feel, instead of worrying about complex grammar. It's small, but it's liberating.
And along with that, cultivating gratitude is surprisingly powerful. Take a moment to notice small wins, like understanding a phrase in a movie, asking a question and being understood, or using a new word correctly. Gratitude doesn't just lift your mood, it reinforces your learning in subtle ways.
It's amazing how minimal actions, like jotting a quick note about something you understood today, make your brain remember it better. And emotionally, you feel more capable and confident.
Here's another one. Simplifying decisions around practice. Don't make it complicated. Choose a consistent time to speak English, even if it's just 5 minutes a day. Minimalism is about creating predictable patterns that reduce friction and mental load.
Yes, and it's about celebrating these small patterns. Each day you practice, even briefly, you're strengthening your habit without pressure. Over time, it becomes effortless, like a gentle rhythm in your day.
So far, we've explored focusing on one thing, embracing silence, letting go of perfection, repeating small successes, setting boundaries, slowing down, decluttering thoughts, accepting enough, cultivating gratitude, and simplifying practice. And each one quietly shifts your life and your English practice.
And the beauty is, you don't need to adopt everything at once. Pick one or two rules, try them today, and notice the difference. It's the consistent, gentle application that matters, not rushing or overcomplicating things.
Yes, John. And as we continue, we'll explore how these rules show up in real-life situations, like ordering coffee, chatting with a friend, or even responding to emails. When you apply them gently, English stops feeling like a challenge and starts feeling like a natural part of your day.
And that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? Life and English flowing together, one small, intentional step at a time.
Exactly. And if you try even one of these rules today, notice how it feels. Write it down, share it in the comments, or simply observe quietly. Each tiny effort builds momentum and shapes your learning journey without pressure. So, John, we've been talking about small habits and minimalist rules, but what really excites me is seeing how they show up in everyday life. It's one thing to know the rule, and another to actually use it while talking or interacting.
Absolutely. I remember one afternoon at the park. I was practicing English by casually talking to a stranger about the weather. I applied a few rules, slowing down, focusing on one sentence, and letting go of perfection. And you know what? The conversation felt effortless, even enjoyable.
Yes, and that's the beauty of practicing in low-pressure situations. You don't need a classroom or a formal setting. A coffee shop, a short chat with a neighbor, or even speaking aloud to yourself in front of the mirror can be a perfect space. These little moments accumulate and build your confidence subtly but powerfully.
And small talk is where many learners struggle, right? They worry about what to say, overthink, and end up saying nothing. But if you approach it with curiosity rather than perfection, you notice opportunities everywhere. A simple, "How's your day?" or "That's interesting," can open a conversation naturally.
Exactly. And reactions are key. Words like, really? Oh, or wow are minimalist but effective tools. They keep the conversation flowing, signal interest, and give you space to think about your next sentence. They're like small bridges connecting ideas.
And the amazing part? Your inner critic starts to quiet down. You realize that English doesn't have to be flawless to communicate. Small, genuine reactions matter more than perfect grammar. And that realization, it changes everything for learners.
Another situation where these rules help is when asking questions. Many learners hesitate because they fear being misunderstood. But by simplifying your words, focusing on one question, and accepting good enough, you invite authentic responses. It becomes a gentle exchange rather than a performance.
I remember emailing a friend abroad. I wanted to express an idea, but kept rewriting the sentence in my head. Then I paused, wrote a simple version, and sent it. It felt lighter, and my friend understood perfectly. Minimalist rules in action.
Yes, John. And it's not just about words, it's about mindset. One small rule I practice is observing without judgment. When you listen without critiquing yourself for mistakes or comparing yourself to others, you absorb more naturally and speak with more ease.
Absolutely. And this leads to another subtle rule, embracing curiosity. Approach English as an explorer rather than a student. Ask questions, notice patterns, and experiment with phrases. This playful mindset makes learning feel joyful instead of stressful.
And I love how this ties into daily routines. Even mundane activities like shopping, ordering food, or talking about the weather become practice opportunities. By applying minimalist rules, every interaction becomes a chance to practice without pressure.
Yes, it's like creating micro moments of learning. One phrase, one reaction, one small sentence at a time. Over days and weeks, these moments accumulate into noticeable improvement. And the best part? It feels natural, not forced.
And subtle exercises, like repeating short sentences or practicing greetings, reinforce learning quietly. You don't need hours of study every day, just small, consistent habits applied in real situations create real confidence.
Exactly. And when learners realize that their English can grow naturally, it reduces fear, overthinking, and self-criticism. The focus shifts from perfection to connection, from pressure to gentle progress.
So, the key takeaway here is that these minimalist rules aren't just life hacks, they're tools for effortless communication. They help you navigate conversations, reduce stress, and let your personality shine in English.
And the beauty is, you can start today. Pick one interaction, one micro moment, and apply a minimalist rule. Notice the difference. Observe your inner voice, your confidence, and the flow of conversation. It's subtle, but it works wonders.
Exactly. And if you try it, share your experience in the comments. Even tiny wins are worth celebrating. Each small action moves you closer to natural, confident English. And that's what we're exploring today. How 10 simple rules can quietly reshape your life and your conversations. As we continue, John, I love thinking about how these minimalist rules blend seamlessly into daily life. Even small choices, like how we greet someone or respond in a conversation, reflect our mindset.
Yes, and what I find fascinating is that when learners start noticing these micro moments, they feel empowered. Suddenly, English isn't this massive, intimidating task. It's woven into life in small, meaningful ways.
For example, when you practice using reaction words or short sentences, you start responding naturally without overthinking. You can try this anywhere, at a bakery, in an online chat, or even with a friend who's learning alongside you. The key is consistency, not intensity.
Exactly. And it's about observation, too. Notice what works, what feels comfortable, and what doesn't. These reflections are part of the learning process, quietly strengthening both your English and your confidence.
Another subtle exercise is storytelling in miniature. Even if it's one or two sentences, sharing a simple story about your day encourages fluency and comfort. It's minimalist, yet incredibly effective. For instance, I went to the park, I saw a dog, it was funny. Simple, and yet it's practice.
Yes, and when you pair it with expressive words or reactions, like, "Really? That's amazing," you start building authentic, real-life conversation skills. Your English stops being about correctness and starts being about connection.
And let's not forget preparation. Having ready phrases or a small mental toolkit can reduce anxiety. But remember, it's just a guide, not a script. Flexibility keeps your communication natural. You can say, I see, or interesting in multiple ways depending on the context.
And over time, you'll notice a change in your inner voice. Instead of doubting every sentence, you'll feel a quiet confidence, knowing that effort matters more than perfection. This shift is subtle but transformative.
Exactly. And another practical tip is to pair learning with reflection. After a conversation or exercise, take a moment to notice what felt easy and what challenged you. Reflecting this way gently reinforces learning without pressure or self-criticism.
Yes, and this is where the minimalist rules truly shine. They aren't about adding more tasks or complicating your life. They're about small, intentional shifts that accumulate over time. Each short sentence, each reaction word, each mindful pause becomes part of your fluency journey.
And the final point I love to share is celebrating progress. Not just big milestones, but small victories. Every successful interaction, every sentence you speak, every time you apply a rule is progress. Acknowledge it, even quietly, because it strengthens motivation and confidence.
Exactly. And when you celebrate these moments, you reinforce a positive cycle. Confidence grows, anxiety shrinks, and English starts to feel like a natural tool rather than a challenge.
So, here's a gentle challenge for you today. Pick one minimalist rule. Focus on one sentence, use a reaction word, or reflect after a small conversation, and apply it consciously. Observe the shift in your confidence, your fluency, and your mindset.
Yes, and share your experience with us in the comments. Your story might inspire another learner to take their first tiny step. Each contribution builds a supportive community, and that's what makes this journey so beautiful.
Remember, these rules are not a checklist. They're gentle nudges. They help you speak, connect, and live more effortlessly, one small step at a time. English isn't about perfection, it's about connection, expression, and the joy of progress.
Exactly. So take a moment today to try one minimalist rule in real life, notice how it feels, and embrace your progress. Every tiny action counts. And when you do, you're not just practicing English, you're creating a life that feels simpler, calmer, and more confident.
We're so grateful you joined us today. Keep these 10 minimalist rules in mind, try them gently, and watch how they quietly change your English and your daily life. You've got this. Every small step matters.
Yes, and we can't wait to hear your experiences. Until next time, keep speaking, keep practicing, and keep embracing these small yet powerful changes. Your journey is unfolding beautifully.
Take care, breathe, and remember, English is yours to explore, one tiny step at a time.